You know, I'm proud to announce that Kimmer had just turned me on to the Ultra Slim Fast Stop Drinking Diet. I have the shakes for breakfast, the shakes for lunch, and a sensible six-pack for dinner. You know, Tom Hughes, the king, needs to cut down. Tom gave his doctor a urine specimen, and there was an olive in it. Doctors stick needles in Tom just to sterilize them. But you know, I have no room to talk. I need to cut down on my drinking. For years, I thought that Roe versus Wade was the best way to leave the scene of a crime. A lot of other famous people wanted to be a part of the night, and a frequent caller to the Kimmer Show sent his condolences, wanted me to read this brief message. Is former Senator Bob Dole. Thank you very much.
Hey, cheer down, will you, Bob?
Yeah, you know, it's hard to be happy when I have to talk to your worthless ass twice a week. You know, I wish I could have been there in person to honor my fellow ED sufferer, Kim Peterson. You know, the Kimmers found a new use for Viagra. He takes it right before he goes to sleep. It keeps him from rolling out of the bed. Thank you very much. Kimmer's endorsing a new product from Pfizer. It's half Viagra, half ginkgo biloba. You take it, you think harder than you ever have. I know it, you know it, American people know it. Thank you very much. Bravo. We also had a message from our Commander-in-Chief. Kimmer?
How's it going, Mr. Franklin?
You know, my wife,
Laura, sir.
Laura.
Laura.
I'd like to have been there in person, but hell, we thought you'd be dead by now. Kimmer ordered a 3-minute egg. They made him pay in advance. Anyway, thank you very much, Wayne. Good to be here. Now, Kimmer's been a loyal supporter of mine for years. I'll never forget the time he came to the White House last year as a formal affair. Kimmer was kicked out for indecency because he took the invitation literally. It said black tie only. Kimmer was hauled out and taken to small claims court. It had a happy ending. The judge threw it out. Lack of evidence. Thank you very much. You know, Kimmer gave me a lot of good advice before the Iraqi war. I wish I'd taken some of it. He said, don't spend that $100 billion. Don't send 250,000 troops to Baghdad. Just send Falcon quarterback Doug Johnson over there. He could overthrow Saddam Hussein by 15 yards. Last Sunday, Johnson couldn't have hit Rosie O'Donnell in the ass with a bag of rice. You know, I saw where Rosie O'Donnell came out of the closet. It must have been a walk-in. Otherwise, they'd had to grease her thighs and lure her out with a French fry. Thank you very much, my fellow Americans.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You know, we're picking on the Falcons, but to be fair about it, we invited Doug Johnson to the roast, our promotions manager who deserves a big hand, John Gray, Perspiration John. He called Doug Johnson on the phone to invite him to the roast. John said the phone just rang and rang, no answer. I guess Doug couldn't find the receiver. Well, we're going to bring on our next roaster, someone I'm sure a lot of you here are familiar with. The former program director at WGST, a man responsible for hiring the Kimmer and myself, one reason he is no longer the program director at WGST, and the man who is known for making Sean Hannity what he is today, a self-absorbed asshole. Would you welcome Eric Seidel?
Well, this is just another example of Kim's insensitivity to the diverse audience he has to schedule this roast on the first night of the first day of the most important week in the Jewish calendar.
Yeah, you're still here, aren't you?
Now, it's my job to read the telegrams we've received tonight, and many have come in. Jerry, first is from your rabbi. What the hell are you doing with all these goyim on a night like this? From Nancy Zintak, your former executive producer and program director, Kimmer. Kimmer, John and I really wanted to be with you tonight. Stop. But as you know, we have 5 daughters. Stop. It makes it difficult to get out of the house. Stop. After the 5th, I told John, stop. John, stop. John, stop! John didn't stop. Number 6 will be downloading soon. Please, John, stop. Here's from Wayne, no offense. What's a producer? From the former late President Nixon, or late former President Nixon, Kimmer, congratulations, but take it from me, don't get a swelled head. From former President Ronald Reagan, what's a Kimmer and who is this guy prostate? Comedian Jerry Lewis has sent a message. First, the bad news, Kimmer, I can't be with you tonight. The good news, I'm the new Michelin Man.
You're a cold bastard.
From Sean Hannity, Kimmer, I heard you're having trouble with your Mikey. Too bad.
Hey, Sean, blow me.
From Mike Rose, one of your very first producers, staff, let me tell you what you can do with your staff. From Leslie Love, no, let me tell you what you can do with your staff. From Congressman Barney Frank, Leslie, I accept. From Joey Ryman, hey, what happened to Planet Radio? From former WGST program director Ken Charles, also known as KFC, I'll have this radio station turned around in no time. And that's a guarantee.
I really love you, really mean it.
From Dennis O'Hare, this just in, if you're just joining us, this just in, repeating, this just in, if you're just joining us. From new WGST program director Bruce Collins, it's a dream come true for me to join you, Kimmer, and the staff of the Dorky 640. From Saddam Hussein, I want the damn uniform back now.
Eat me.
You know, Kimmer and Elizabeth have talked a lot about his disease, and now that it appears that he has it arrested and conquered, Elizabeth asked Kim, what if you out-survive me? Would you remarry? And Kim said, well, you know, I would want you to, so yes, I probably would remarry. And I think you would want me to be happy. And she said, well, would you let her use my car? And he said, well, it's a beautiful car, and we've invested a lot in that. So yes, I probably would. Would you sleep in our bed? Well, you know, it's a great bed. I talk about it on the radio every day. So, yeah, I probably would. I said, well, what about my jewelry? You know, we've invested a lot in my jewelry, Kim. Well, it's beautiful jewelry, and it shouldn't sit in a box all the time. It should be displayed. So yes, I'd let her wear your jewelry. What about my golf clubs? And he said, oh, no, absolutely not. And said, well, wait a minute. She could drive my car. She could sleep in my bed. She could wear my jewelry, but you won't let her use my golf clubs? Why not? And she's left-handed. Kimmer, the money you're raising tonight to help stamp out prostate cancer is terrific, and this crowd is overwhelming. Very impressive. But Kimmer, let me tell you one thing.
That's right.
I find even more admirable and a huge inspiration to those who either have or perhaps will contract the disease. What is impossible to quantify is your incredible attitude, your positive attitude. It's a huge statement to you and the best use of your platform on WGST. So thank you.
This thing on, Bob Dole? Thank you very much. You know, I mixed Viagra with prune juice. The next day I didn't know if I was coming or going. Anyway.
Eric mentioned Kimmer's golf game, and I get to play occasionally with Kimmer. He's a very good golfer. Recently made a hole-in-one, the first of his career. Let's give him a hand for that. Later on, we'll be hearing from Danny McLefty of the Golf Show, a frequent golf partner of the Kimmer, and sometimes I'm lucky enough to be in that group. And we were playing a course up in North Georgia a couple of weeks ago, and you know how it is on the golf course. It got real stacked up. We were on the 17th tee, 2 or 3 groups. It was kind of a rural golf course. There was this big farm right next to it, deserted field, but there were a couple of sheep grazing in the field. And, you know, I was killing time, sitting on the bench, looked over, and I said, you know, guys, I wish that was Cindy Crawford. Danny McNulty looked over and said, I wish it was Britney Spears. And Kimmer looked over and said, hell, I just wish it was dark.
Jesus! You guys are brutal.
Well, this is Kimmer's former golfing buddy, Bill Clinton, you know. That Kimmer's a good golfer, but he's been having trouble with his putting. He told me last Sunday that he blew more 6-footers than Monica Lewinsky. I mean, I don't even know what that means.
You know, I tried to explain the whole Monica situation to Kimmer. I really did. I said, now, all that I did, as far as that blue dress is concerned, all I did was I complimented Monica on the dress right after I spotted her in it.
I said, honey, that's the nicest dress I've ever come across, I'll tell you that.
And I want to thank, you know, on that right-wing conservative station, Clinton-hating station that Tom Hughes, the king, had the courage to put my wife Hillary on his show
To discuss her new book entitled Men Are From Mars, My Husband's a Penis. That's a great interview. You know, Tom asked Hillary about chapter 9 where she reveals for the first time the last thing that Vince Foster ever said to her. Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Please, don't shoot!
Okay, this is a great audience. This is a fun night. And this is a very special roaster for me, a very good friend of mine, someone who has helped me a lot in the comedy business, a comedy legend here in Atlanta, although sometimes he doesn't get me the greatest gigs. Jerry Farber is who I'm talking about. We were working a club week before last in Dothan, Alabama. Has anybody ever been to Dothan, Alabama? Yeah, I know. This guy came up to me after the show and said, hey, buddy, you was great. I'd like you to meet my wife and my daughter. There was only one woman standing there. But my friend Jerry Farber was voted for the 4th time Atlanta's Entertainer of the Year. His humor book sold well under 1 million copies. It's called Sex, Wealth, Power, How to Live Without Them. For you sports fans, Jerry was an All-American wrestler 2 years in a row at the University of North Carolina. And best of all, Jerry is a happy first-time father of a 3-year-old son. Folks, would you welcome my friend and a friend of the Kimmer Show, Jerry Farber. And here he is.
Thank you, Jim Gossett. Thank you. Thank you, Kimmer. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Thank you. You know, they say in the Old Testament, and by the way, Eric Seidel, you're right. Tonight is Rosh Hashanah, and I really deliberated for days whether I should break a tradition of going to the synagogue, and then I thought, you know, I'm Episcopalian, so it really doesn't make a lot of difference. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, it is an honor to be with all the roasters. They're terrific, but they say, a rabbi friend of mine, Rabbi Guberman, let's say, Lefkowitz, makes no difference. And he said, you can tell the character of a human being, what kind of life they had, by who attends their funeral. And folks, I think this is a good indication of in 3 to 4 months. maybe 6 months of what we're going to see. And Fantasy Goddess, I'm available. I'm 34 years old, and I'm ready to make a commitment.
You better be well rested.
Let me do the show. Shut the fuck up. Thanks so much.
You better be really
I
well
respect
rested.
the Marines, but I myself, and it's documented, was a Navy SEAL, and I was in Vietnam when you, I was in Canada. Let me get this straight. I was in, same thing. Montreal, Da Nang, same thing. I was up there with Dan Quayle and Newt Gingrich and Kimmer and Bill Clinton. Clinton won the Yellow Heart 2 years in a row. He did, for showing extreme caution. Like, he didn't know they fired bullets. He thought it was a dating service up there, but they made a man out of Clinton, paid for the operation. But Kimmer, the day that he had this procedure, and a lot of you young guys and 96 guys and the Hood and Gossett, they think it's going to last forever. But Kimmer, one day, as cute as you are, you're going to look like Eric Seidel. That's what's going to happen to you. Right, where is Eric? Life takes us all in the back alley and kicks the you-know-what out of you. And I'll tell you something else. When you see a man that looks like this, with all respect, with a woman half his age, you know he's got money. That's all that's for. Just like the Kimmer. You think the Fantasy Goddess would hang out with a man that looks like this? He's half my size. But so anyway, we go to have this procedure. We go to have a procedure done. And I've got photographs. I'll show it to you. And young men, if you haven't had it done, you will. Women think we don't get plumbing problems. We get them, and Kimmer is the best example. We get them, and it's like Hiroshima, Nagasaki. We don't get them till later, but we get them. And Kimmer, by the way, your ego might be bigger than mine, but my prostate can beat up your prostate. I'll tell you that. So we go to the doctor. Kimmer, stop me when I exaggerate. And they do a finger test. I've got photographs. I'll show you the photos. The fantasy lady couldn't even, she was shopping at Phipps Plaza. She said, I just can't see. So we go there, and they put a finger right up to Tushy to check a little gland that when we're young, it should be little, but when we get to be Kimmer's age, it's like a coconut. It becomes like a coconut. And you don't pee good. You pee way off to the left or something like that. I happen to like it when my Tar Heels are playing tech because I can hit a tech guy from 8 feet down. What the? Anyway, it's not important. It's not important where I can hit a guy with my urine, but this is the thing. So they put a finger right up to Kimmer's, and it hurt. And they called Kimmer at 8 o'clock in the morning and said, Kimmer, you got to come back. We got to check this one more time. And Kimmer said, why? It hurt. He said, Kimmer, I lost my ring. The doctor. Wait a minute. And the guy played football at Oklahoma. This was a man's ring. This wasn't like a little Emery tennis ring. This was a man's ring. Kimmer, I'm honored that I would be here. It's for real. I'm an old nightclub comic, and I appreciate the honor to be here. You're a terrific guy. And Clem, I don't know what it, Clem, whatever it is. You're a great American. Kimmer was in the Marines, and he saved a battalion from diarrhea. He fell on a case of Spam. Not many people know this. The guy said, you're not eating Spam today, and Kimmer saved them all. A lot of tough Marines. Anyway, I hate to announce this, but there are about 150 seats left. If you've got a cell phone, you want to call a friend to come down here in the next 45 minutes, get them here, and it's just $10, and they'll pay for the parking. And for $20, you don't have to hear the rest of the road. You go right up to your room upstairs. That man taking photographs, a buddy of mine, a good friend of Kimmer's, played football at North Carolina State. His name is Norm Cates. Friends of Kimmer's from the Ronald McDonald House, Linda Morris and Bob Allen in that crowd. Dina Galante Travel. The man who keeps Jim Gossett and I alive because the radio is strictly for free, as many of you don't know, is Tony Garson from East Coast Entertainment. Folks, there is a Pinto, has nothing to do with the roast. There's a 1971 Pinto. It's got Auburn tags on it. It's got a wounded deer. It's right on top of this. It's right out. It's got a deer and a moose, a dead moose on top of it. He said, I'm from Auburn. I'm from Auburn. And it's parked right in front of the hotel. There's nothing the matter with it, but you're making the whole downtown area look real shit. If you could take that piece of crap back to Snellville or something like that, look at that young Republican. I know you guys, you're so tight, one day you're going to fart and knock out the whole electrical system. I know I'm not the only old liberal here, the 55% of the population, and I'm proud of it. And I think what makes America work, and Kimmer told me this, that we are here and then we're gone. We are black and white. Look around the room. This is why I would go back and fight in Vietnam again. I'd fight in New Jersey if I had to fight. We are black, we are white, we are Jews, we are Gentiles, we are straight. Where's Eric? We're not that straight. Nice man, a good man, but not straight. We are handsome, or Kimmer, if I may. Not that handsome, a damn good man, but not that handsome. We are sensuous, or again, Kimmer, if I may. Not that sensuous. There are two things, as a former All-American athlete at Chapel Hill, I don't tolerate still. One is racism. We must eliminate hatred, and Kimmer does it better than anybody I know, except for a lot of other people. There are two things we must eliminate: hatred, and we've got to stop Pat Buchanan from reproducing. I don't know how to do it. They love that in Midtown. I know the further you go out, they don't like that much. Take this testimony. Anyway, it's not important. Kimmer, I just want to say this. A lot of your friends, because the important part of tonight is not taking up more time, and I've got like 20 minutes left, and I've got to... By the way, another one of your good buddies gave up a big golf date tonight to be here. His name is Bill Houck, who also a former Marine. I wanted to say hello. Bill Houck, former owner of Houck's Steak and Seafood, just sold out for $3.5 million, doing pretty well for himself, too. We have some telegrams. Jim Gossett lined these up for me. The first telegram is from the United States Marine Corps. Dear Private Peterson,
Hey!
although we have no record of you ever serving in the USMC, we would like to wish you a speedy recovery and a successful benefit dimper. Semper Fi. Kimmer, this is very impressive. From Neil Bortz. What an honor for all of us that Neil would take a couple minutes out of his schedule. Dear Kimmer, wish I could be with you, but I had to fly in my own plane to Gainesville for a big bowling tournament, which I'm an honorary trainer. And after that, I got to match up my underwear drawer. You do know, Kimmer, that I am a pilot with my own plane. Also a brand new and expensive new Porsche. Kimmer, on the chance you may beat this prostate thing, you should try to get syndicated. I love it. The money is better. You can be offensive and arrogant, 20 different states. I would try and pray for you, Kimmer. This really, I mean, I was crying when I read it, and also passing a kidney stone. So no, between a stone and this Neil Boris, I could cry forever. I would try and pray for you, Kimmer, but I do not believe there's any power higher or greater than myself. Your friend, the syndicated man with his own plane, Neil Boris. How about Neil Boris? Thank you. Here is a very touching, Tony, hear this, touching telegram from your friend Pam Martin. Kimmer, how does Newsmaker do it? Kimmer, thanks for always referring to me as a lovely lady. On GST 640 AM, that really means everything to me. I wish I could be with you tonight, but I know you're only having 5 courses, and that would just whet my appetite. Have a lovely evening and give my sincere and fondest regards to the Newsmaker guy, whatever his name is, the little twerp. That's what from Pam. Here's a telegram from yet another talk show host. Hi, Kimmer, you look fabulous. I think it's time for us to bury the hatchet, so I'm willing to forgive you for saying that if you walked into a room with Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden, and me, and you had a gun with 3 billets, you'd shoot me 3 times. Kimmer, I'll put in a good word for you with all the syndicators, your friend Sean Hannity. Sean did this. Kimmer, I'm not ready to forgive you yet, but here's another telegram from your medical team at St. Joseph's. This bill is 3 weeks overdue. Please remit immediately, as we don't know how much longer based on recent telegrams. You know, let me do the show, shut the fuck. Okay. Here we go. Here's something that says to pull out. This is from station WGST 640. Telegram. I don't know what it means, but it is a pink. It's a slip. That's what it says over here. How stupid. Jim, let me write my own material. Newsmaker thing. I just want to say one thing. That this is a special moment, and part of the money tonight does go to wonderful charities, including American Cancer Society, prostate cancer. A lot of us older guys will be so affected with it. I want to show you what this does. For younger ones, watch this. This is a picture the fantasy lady gave me. This is a picture of the Kimmer as a younger man, just 4 years ago. Can you